Look, I don't know what's gotten into me. I could be off on my rocker potentially. Bigger I get, the more they think it less of me. Don't be the one to insult my integrity. Put down the whistle, I'm done with you referees. Y'all don't know nothing, you think you ejected me. Till I show up in the game, like remember me. I gotta make it, these people depend on me. Hey, that's how I'm living these days. Threaten my wife, keep digging that grave. I had a job making minimum wage. Told myself that I gotta get paid. Prove myself, yeah, get on my grades. Walk into class like, give me that A. Think I'm trash, put a bag in your face. And I put you by the road like, look what it's saying. Here's a reminder that I still spit. Think I need to advise you to watch your lip, or at least realize that I'm not no kid. Don't Google my name trying to find my crib. Write a pop song, then I write a song like this. Do a lot wrong, doesn't matter, I learn quick. I'm an outlaw, my brain has no fence. Doesn't matter either way to me, cause even if it did, I would destroy it. Used to be employee, now I'm employer. Making big deals, now I gotta get lawyers. People tell me to relax and enjoy it, but when I kick back, I see warning. Summertime might pass, can't ignore it. Every time I rap and I'm recording, might be my last, so I absorb it. Cause I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it, yeah. I gotta make it or make it, man, these are the options, these are the options. I gotta make it or make it, I gotta make it or make it, yeah. I gotta make it or make it, man, these are the options, these are the options. I gotta make it or make it, I gotta make it or make it, woo. I gotta make it or make it, man, these are the options, these are the options. I gotta make it or make it, I gotta make it or make it, woo. I gotta make it or make it, man, these are the options, these are the options. School bag without the pliers, intros without the choirs, new car without the tires, music without the writers, UFC without the fighters, smoking without the fire, cigarettes without the lighter, Austin Powers, no Michael Myers, that's me. If I ain't get the bars, you see, something ain't right, like I'm incomplete. Outcast, yes, I'm a different breed. If you disagree, make them all retreat. Act like a boss when I compete. Take my thoughts in a hyperspeed. When it's all gone and I hit my peak, at least I'll know that I took that leap. Cause life is a process, and I am not here for the nonsense. Losing everything I work for likes to weigh on my conscience. That's why I black out the comments. Who's next? Who's next? I don't know, I ain't been watching. Closing my ear to the gossip. I gotta make it or make it, man, these are the options. No forfeiting, my course different. Change flows and I'm bored with it. More living, never more driven. I avoid timid. Try to tell me I can never be the go to rap. I ignore limits. I was born with the short trip and thinking I'm slipping. I'm enjoying it. Look at me, I'm on a tour selling more tickets. Even if the fourth record didn't sell a copy, I'ma do it like a hobby. I ain't quitting till the Lord tell me I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it, yeah. I gotta make it or make it, man, these are the options, these are the options. I gotta make it or make it, I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it, man, these are the options, these are the options. I gotta make it or make it, I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it, man, these are the options, these are the options. I gotta make it or make it, I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it, man, these are the options, these are the options. These are the options. These are the options. These are the options. Yeah, these are the options.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Turn 3 Racing Network. I am your host, David Whirl, up in the booth, bringing you all the Formula I Renault 3.5 Championship action. Live here from, I'm gonna demolish his name, Zandvoort. Mark, Danny, please don't shoot me. Live here for the Dutch Grand Prix. Qualifying is already underway. We will throw up the point standings for you real quick. Cedric Beal on a tear the past few Grand Prix weekends that we have had, walking away in the top spot multiple times so far this season. 3 wins to his name, and he is beginning to put his stamp on the championship. There you see MXS on top of the constructors board, leading Siemens Privateer in sim racing, slowly starting to walk away from the rest of the constructors early here, and that has a lot to do with the man at the top of your points lead, Cedric Beal. He has been contributing some major constructor points to his team so far. So, drivers are out on track already. Let's jump on out there, ride with the 12 of Corey Whiting as he makes his way around this 2.64 mile track. Very technical track, as you see one of the Crown Racing members off track right there. That was David Guild with a little bit of an issue. He's off track as of right now. Corey Whiting on this lap slotting in about 0.6 seconds off of the race leader. Or I should say off of the qualifying leader. And that is none other than Danny Hoekstra on top of the board yet again in another Grand Prix weekend. Danny has been super fast in these qualifying sessions leading up to the Grand Prix over the past few Grand Prix weekends that we have had. He finds himself once again sitting on top of that board. Gonna step on back now with another driver, the 18 of Brandon Ferranti. Brandon making his way around the tracks, currently sitting in the 4th position. So he's got a little bit of time to make up, but not a whole lot. 1 second off the fast time set by Hoekstra, as Jason Siemens pulling his 18 Siemens Privateer machine out onto the track, getting up to speed. And this is going to be one crazy race. A lot of runoff potential on many of these curves, but not the runoff that you would like. Most of them have either the dreaded sand gravel pits or grass. Not a lot of asphalt runoff surface for these Formula I drivers here today, so keeping it within the track limits is going to be extremely crucial and extremely big here today for the Dutch Grand Prix, live on Turn 3 Racing Network. Oh, and a moment there for Brandon as he spins. He goes around into the Armco barriers as we look at that 91 of Danny Hoekstra down there on pit road, sporting a special paint scheme. A little bit hard to see that thing right now. Let's see if we can't find a shot that might show you the special paint scheme here today being driven, and I don't think we're going to have a good shot of it. That's about the best we can do while he is on pit road. Special paint scheme out here for the Tulip Racing members, Danny Hoekstra as well as Mark Bruning. Their homecoming race, both of these drivers being Dutch-born drivers, saluting their home country's race. And I must tell you that paint scheme is pretty darn sweet. If we get a chance to catch it during the race, we most certainly will. Gonna jump back on track now. This is the 13 of Patrick Woodstrup, and he goes around through the grass, gravel, and up almost into the wall. Looks like we have a few other drivers. We'll now jump out there with the 18 of Jason Siemens as he tries in the last 15 minutes here in qualifying to come up with some type of lap. Has yet to put down a timed lap as of yet, but Siemens, one of those drivers that you will have to contend with later on in this race. And my phone, I'm sorry, is going absolutely haywire right now with some big news for the tin top for the NASCAR style racing that a lot of American drivers, British drivers, Canadian drivers follow. And that's the recent news with, as everybody knows worldwide, this extremely crazy, quick, fast-spreading disease, the coronavirus. NASCAR here in the United States has deemed, as well as Formula One and many other sports throughout the world, to shut down for the next few weeks to reassess, reevaluate the health situations, things of that nature. However, there will be a replacements race here on iRacing.com. That's right. There will be NASCAR drivers, NASCAR crew chiefs, NASCAR spotters, along with a few select, as Siemens goes around here, right in front of one of those green Puma Racing drivers, and it will now look at the 61 of Mark Bruning as he comes around the track. And as I was saying, they're going to put on a special race being broadcast live. Oh, and Mark, tough. Oh, and into that Armco barrier, rips off that front nose cone. He's going to need a new car after that. Carter Kundinger coming around the track, sitting in 7th, 1.4 seconds behind Hoekstra so far in here and qualifying as we get down to just under 12 minutes left to go. And as I was saying, it's a big moment. It's a big time for not just the drivers that race NASCAR and iRacing, but also many of the other drivers that utilize the simulator to have our platform displayed in such a way that NASCAR is coming to iRacing, looking for a way to put on a show for the fans. It is going to be absolutely crazy. As to my understanding, it will actually be broadcast live on TV. So check your listings, and if not, you can check out. It'll probably be here on the iRacing portal as well. So check that out. Back to the point at hand. Qualifying well under halfway left, as this was a 30-minute session. We have got a total of 16 drivers out here today on this this is an absolutely wonderful track to be at. I've enjoyed it quite a bit since being here this weekend. So, yeah, it's going to produce quite a bit of great racing. And for some reason, Mark Bruning is not showing up on the overlay, so we're going to take just a brief moment here. We're going to pull all of this stuff off, and we're going to try to get things set up so everybody's showing up just like they should. 10 minutes left to go here in qualifying, so we're going to step away for a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And just like that, we are back live from Circuit Park, Zandvoort, here in the Netherlands for the Dutch Grand Prix, Formula I's Renault 3.5 Championship season qualifying well underway. Just about 7.5 minutes left remaining as these drivers continue to try to take over the top spot on the board. And while we're away at commercial break, Cedric Beal has found a way to put his machine up on top of the board over Danny Hoekstra, now sitting in that second position. Your top 5 in qualifying right now: Cedric Beal, Danny Hoekstra, Will Zoller, Samuel Augsburger, Corey Whiting. Special thanks to Corey for some of the newer commercials being shown here today for the Formula I Renault 3.5 Championship. That's right, it's the Dutch Grand Prix live here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Gonna jump out there on track with, well, let's go out there with the 17 of Samuel Augsburger as he makes his way around this track. As Samuel's going to reset and head back to the pits, let's see who we can jump out there with now. Let's jump on board with the 19 of Emilio Fernandez Garrido as he makes his way around this track for the Dutch Grand Prix. Jump on board, give you a little fly from the seat of the pants. as you can see by the way Emilio's having to wheel this thing around this track. This is not an easy task, ladies and gentlemen. This track, very fast, very technical. Runoff and throttle points, brake points, very crucial here at Zandvoort. And, man, it is going to be a tough run for a lot of drivers out there today. I myself struggled pretty heavily to get around the track, but that is to no one's surprise. I can assure you that Emilio still a little bit off the pace, sitting in the 11th position, 1.4 seconds back from your qualifying leader, Cedric Beal, out there on track. And I tell you what, we'll now try to go join up with Cedric as Emilio is hitting pit road this time by. I believe Cedric may be running out on track. Nope, not quite yet. Looks like Samuel Augsburger also starting to get on track, so we'll jump back up on board with, driver off track just in front of Danny Hoekstra. Danny trying to come around, trying to retake that pole position, right now sitting in the 3rd spot. And I told you, him and his Tulip Racing teammate have got some of the, well, I usually don't say stuff like this on the broadcast, but there's no other way for me to word it. Oh, driver, trouble on pit road. But look at that. That is one badass looking machine. Hoekstra and Bruning. If there was points given or award given for best paint, those two drivers would be tied and walking away with it, because they've got some badass looking liveries on their machines this weekend. And why not show out for your home country's Grand Prix? Danny Hoekstra doing an amazing job. You see him throwing that car down into the corner and making it stick. Absolutely amazing. We'll now jump on board with Hoekstra as he makes his way around this track. Right at 2 minutes remaining here in qualifying before we will set today's starting grid. Cedric Beal sitting on top of the board right now in that provisional pole position, but the super pole time has begun. You have got less than 3 minutes to get the job done. Does anybody have what it takes to get the job done? Hoekstra gonna slot in this time by 1:22.336. So still about 1.44 seconds off of your current pole sitter, Cedric Beal, who is out on track. So we're going to go now back to that 2 machine of Cedric Beal. We'll continue to keep our eye on Hoekstra's lap to see if he's able to snatch a position or possibly 2. And Beal with some issues. He's going to go off track. We'll now look at Samuel Augsburger as he's trying to complete his last flying lap, his last attempt at, well, taking out his teammate for the pole position. Will he be able to do it? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to, but he inches very, very close. 0.058 from taking that spot away. Absolutely amazing job. Well done, Samuel. As Danny Hoekstra now going to come around the track, back across the line. Here you go. Racing to the line. DRS is enabled. Oh, and back to second. Almost taking that pole position away was Hoekstra. That was a very exciting end to qualifying here on Turn 3 Racing Network for the Dutch Grand Prix, live here at Zandvoort for the Formula I Renault 3.5 Championship. And while we get set to to get things cranked up over there, head to the grid. We're going to step away for just a brief moment. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And we are back live here at Circuit Park Zandvoort in the Netherlands for the Dutch Grand Prix. Drivers finishing their final attempts at making better on their qualifying positions. Nobody picks up anything more. Hoekstra did leapfrog Augsburger for that second position, but Cedric Biel gonna walk away today with the provisional pole. Hats off to that man right there, getting the job done. Looks like we'll have the drivers begin to hit the starting grid for today's race. And as they do, we're gonna head on down track side to bring you today's starting lineup for the Dutch Grand Prix as the field moves their machines out onto the tarmac, onto the racing surface. Your qualifying order for today's Dutch Grand Prix here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Row number 1 inside, or actually that would be starting outside the 2 of Cedric Biel. To his outside the 91 of Danny Hoekstra. Row number 2, the 17 of Samuel Augsburger, and the 1 of Dave Guild. Row number 3, the 12 of Corey Whiting, and the 63 of Will Zoller. Row number 4 here today, the 18 of Jason Siemens, and the 02 of Carter Kundinger. Row number 5, the 11 of Brandon Ferranti, and the 44 of Stephen Grabowski. Row number 6, the 15 of Danny O'Keefe, followed by the 16 of Emilio Fernandez Garrido. And row number 7, the 13 of Patrick Woodstrup, and the 61 of Mark Bruning. Row number 8 for today's Dutch Grand Prix, the 14 of Chris Hansen, and the 4 of Carlos Cotau. Row number 9, the 9 of Florian Neidl, and the 08 of Troy Banks. And that's going to round out your field for today's Dutch Grand Prix. And we're going to get set to kick this thing off. Lights are on. Drivers on the gas. And we're green flag racing for the first time here at Circuit Park Zandvoort. Hoekstra off to a good start, already battling with those two teammates up at the front. Everybody seems to be making their way through turn number 1 fairly easily. No issues, no problems for these drivers as teammates now up to the 1-2 position. And that is that MXS stable of racing drivers. There you see Jason Siemens with a good start of the race. We're going to look back through the field a little bit further. Looks like Troy Banks a little bit slow, having some issues back here in the rear of the field. We'll rejoin back up front. Oh, big moment there for Chris Hansen getting past. Oh, maybe contact there. It's a little bit of a frantic pace back through about the 8th, 9th, 10th position. You are watching the battle between, well, David Guild's right out in front of these drivers. Chris Hansen, Danny O'Keefe now swapping the positions back once again. The 61. Oh, and contact between those two drivers. We'll take a look back real quick. Up over the hill, under braking, there's the contact, and those two drivers gonna go for a ride. Mark Bruning now skirting through after that skirmish, finds himself just inside those points paying positions, inside that top 10. Meanwhile, up at the front, battle going on between Carter Kundinger, Brandon Ferranti, David Guild. These three drivers mixing it up just in front of Mark Bruning. Corey Whiting, Jason Siemens right there. Oh, and Carter Kundinger on the brakes, locks it up, and he's going to have to sit there for a very long time. Oh, my. Look at all the time he has just given up, all the way back to the 16th spot. Oh, and another driver, Corey Whiting. Oh, my goodness. Let's take a look back at this tough, hard impact here. My goodness. Everything seems to be fine for Corey right here, coming off of the corner, following Jason Siemens down through the S's. Everything seems to be okay. Up over the hill. Oh, and into the grass, and oh, he was just along for the ride, and then the big ride came along. My goodness, that is a tough break for several drivers out here today already. Already working lap number 2 out of 40 here at Circuit Park Zandvoort. And attrition may be the word of the day for multiple drivers out there, as Dave Guild now looking his way by the 11 of Brandon Ferrante, as Mark Bruning is closing in on that battle for the top 5 now. We'll jump up here on board looking with the 11 of Brandon Ferrante. Everything else still seems to be okay on track, as it appears Danny Hoekstra has made his way back by Samuel Augsburger for that second position, but they both have Jason Siemens hot on their trail. The 11 of Brandon Ferrante is just 3 seconds back, but your top 4 all within 4 seconds of each other. And Dave Guild with a big moment here, going around both of those drivers. Guild, little bit of connection issue, as Bruning now trying to make his way around Ferrante as well. He's going to be able to make that pass no problem. And oh my goodness, a little bit of trouble there. I'm not sure who that was just blinking right there, but that was a big time moment for a few of these drivers. Working lap number 3. Oh, just off into the gravel pit goes Ferrante. Back up near the front. We'll join this battle for the 3rd and 4th position. This is between Samuel Augsburger as well as Jason Siemens, working their way around this track. Your running order looks a little something like that, a little bit more updated than the ticker at the top. One driver already out of this race, and that is the 14 of Chris Hansen. Tough break for him. Corey Whiting also had to go get some damage fixed. He is finally out there on track once again. Oh, Augsburger into that corner very quick. Trying to keep our eye on timing and scoring, how everybody is doing. Everything still looks to be okay. Little battle brewing a little further back in the field. This is for 13th, 14th position. And there you see 12th as well. Florian Neidl, Carter Kundinger, Danny O'Keefe battling. Oh! And Troy Banks, he's going to go around. He flies off of the racing surface. We'll back it up, take a look here one more time. He was closing in on a few of the drivers in front of him, and just kind of a lazy spin there. No harm, no foul. Gets it pointed in the right direction, but he is well behind the race leaders now. Danny Hoekstra up here holding serve in the 2nd position. 4.4 seconds behind your race leader, Cedric Beal. Do keep in mind, these drivers have to make one mandatory pit stop for tires. So gonna be interesting to see who decides to come and win. Whether the undercut is gonna work out here for Hulkster or anybody else, as your race leader Cedric Beal has once again just took off from the field. Almost 5 seconds now separates himself from Hulkstra. Hulkstra has about a 2.5 second lead over the battle between Augsburger and Siemens. Dave Guild another 3 seconds back from there, but Mark Bruning driving his way through the field. My goodness, and I'm telling you, that Tulip Racing driver looks like he is on a mission. There you see him start it from 14th position and has driven all the way up to the 6th spot, closing in on the number 1 machine of David Guild as well as Jason Siemens. So don't count Bruning out of a podium spot just yet. We're going to now jump up here with your race leader, Cedric Beal, as it looks like he's going to begin to start working his way near the lap traffic. So I want to go ahead and, well, get you one of our great shots here. One of our onboard cameras here at Turn 3 Racing Network, provided by Formula Racing Simulators. There you go. I couldn't spit it out at first. We should see here momentarily off in the distance, Corey Whiting should be slowly moving into the picture, into the visor of your race leader Cedric Beal, as he's making his way around this 2.64 mile 13 turn track here in the Netherlands, the Circuit Park Zandvoort. Gonna try to jump back with a little bit of the battles. We'll go back here and join the battle with Jason Siemens as he tries to make his way around Samuel Augsburger. We are working lap number 7 out of 40 here today for the Dutch Grand Prix, live on Turn 3 Racing Network. And Troy Banks, he's gonna hit pit road. He's gonna be scored the first car 1 lap down, and now mechanics pushing that machine back into the garage from the paddock. So his day is going to finish out right there. Gonna slot home in the 17th spot. Oh, a little bit of a moment there for Siemens as he tries to get back to the gas. Oh, and you can just see, how crossed up at times those hands are for some of these drivers. That is absolutely crazy to see these drivers get that crossed up and still maintain the speed and keep the car righted. This is your closest battle on track between Jason Siemens as well as Samuel Augsburger. So we're going to stay right here with it as Dave Guild slowly beginning to close in as well. There you see him just behind Siemens. Take a look back from the gearbox. There you see Guild coming off of the corner, trying to make his way up there to the gearbox of Siemens. Another close battle on track right here. Brendan Ferrante having some issues falling through the field, and Patrick Woodstrup right there on his tail on the trail, trying to sniff out just a few more points, as these two drivers are inside those points paying position, though, that top 10. So, big moment for a driver somewhere hearing some issues, and Emilio Fernandez Garrido with some issues. We'll take a look back. And there you see, we'll have to go a little further back, as I think he had a little off track And that may have been what caused, no, just into a little bit of, oh, that's a hard impact. That is a very hard impact. We'll take a look from the cockpit here. Everything seems fine, seems to be okay. He hits the grass, oh, and a big slide, and ooh, that is a tough hit. Tough hit. We'll rejoin Emilio as he tries to limp his machine back to pit road. There you see him entering pit road. Samuel Augsburger has been able to catch Hoekstra. What has happened to Hoekstra? While we were taking a look at what was going on with Guido, Hoekstra had a moment. No damage reported on the radio by Hoekstra, but he has now lost the spot to Augsburger, and he's got Jason Siemens as well as David Guild right there close on his trail. And as these four drivers battle for second through fifth, your race leader, Cedric Beal, has absolutely stepped away. Almost 10 seconds now in front of the field. Beal has led since the lights went out. And Siemens, there you've seen him. Little bit of some wiggles going on there off of the corner. That could have ended up bad. Able to keep it righted, hit it where it needed to be. And there you see right there, that's the spot where Guido had lost control of his machine. Luckily, none of these drivers having that issue as we continue to watch this four-car battle. And Guild now looking to the inside of Siemens, not going to be able to get the power down and make it work. Man, I tell you what, that is a great little battle to be watching. Now this battle beginning to unfold once again as Samuel Augsburger trying to keep Danny Hoekstra at bay, but Hoekstra will not be denied. He is a man on a mission today, that is for sure. So we have teammates sitting 1 and 2. Third position, Hoekstra's teammate is in the 6th spot. Mark Bruning, Jason Siemens, teammate Patrick Woodstrup sitting in 8th. Dave Guild's teammate a little bit further behind. So right now that MXS team looking pretty good. Looking back through the field, looks like Emilio Guido has hit pit road. Corey Whiting also hitting pit road one time. Will Zoller with some issues, and he pulls his machine back into the paddock, and his day is done. So we are now going to have just 15 drivers left out on track here for the Dutch Grand Prix as we begin to work lap number 11 out of 40 here today, live on Turn 3 Racing Network. You are watching Danny Hoekstra hawk down that 17 machine of Samuel Augsburger as your race leader, Cedric Beal, has stepped away from the field to a just about 11.5 second lead over Augsburger and Hoekstra. A little further back through the field, I tell you what, we'll go join this battle for just a moment. Brandon Ferrante trying to make his way up by Patrick Woodstrup in the 7th position. Oh, and Ferrante having some issues, a little bit off track right there. That's going to put him a little bit further behind. So we will now rejoin the closest battle on track, and that is back up here once again for the second position. Samuel Augsburger has it. Hoekstra wants it. What's going to happen? Who's going to be willing to maybe brake a little later? Maybe get on the gas a little sooner? We'll have to wait and see as we get closer and closer to the halfway point here today for the Dutch Grand Prix live at Circuit Park Zandvoort. Here for Formula I's Renault 3.5 Championship. If you haven't already, head on over to Formula I on iRacing.com. Check them out. They've got many different series going on. They've got Renault 2.0s. They've got the Williams Formula 1 car, the Renault 3.5s, the Dallara F3 machines. So multiple different series under the umbrella of Formula I. And if you want to be on track with some of the best Formula style road course racers on iRacing, Formula I is the place to be. Hoekstra with a good job getting by Augsburger and now has stepped away to a 1.3 second lead as he tries to find a way to close in on Cedric Beal, but I am not sure that's going to be something that's going to be possible. Beal is out to 11.4 seconds over Hoekstra, and there's just no... I don't know how you make up that big of a difference. Corey Whiting pulling on to pit road. He's going to make his one required pit stop. He's going to be scored. The first car 1 lap down. Emilio Fernandez Garrido yet to be put 1 lap down, but he has made his one mandatory pit stop, so possible that some drivers going to be hitting pit road here in the next few laps. Florian Neidl with a little bit of a moment a few corners ago. He gets it pointed back into the right direction, but a little bit of a moment there just a few corners ago as we will jump up here with this 3-car battle that's beginning to brew. This is the 11 of Brandon Ferrante with Patrick Woodstrip and Carter Kundinger just behind him. Do want to take a minute to say thank you for joining us here on Turn 3 Racing Network for the Formula I Renault 3.5 Championship. If you haven't already, go ahead and click the thumbs up, hit subscribe, smash the bell over there on the right, get notified anytime we go live here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Come back to watch these Formula I race drivers put on a show every 2 weeks here on Turn 3 Racing Network. And man, oh man, big news coming out of Turn 3 Racing Network's headquarters. We've got merch out there for sale. T-shirts, koozies, stickers, banners. If you want it, come get it before they're gone. Head on over to Turn 3 Racing Network's Facebook page. You can find where and how to place your order. So, yeah, hope to see some shots of you guys in the Turn 3 gear. And, yeah, we'll put them in some of the streams if you want. What do you think of that? Back to the racing. Cedric Beal still now almost 12 seconds out in front of second place runner Danny Hoekstra. Samuel Augsburger another 2.5 seconds back from there. Dave Guild running in the 4th spot finds himself almost 15 seconds behind the race leader, and Jason Siemens rounding out that top 5, but Mark Bruning has slowly been closing the distance on him in the 6th spot. We are watching the battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th here on screen between Ferrante, Woodstrup, and Kundinger, and who wants it more? And while we watch this battle on track, we're going to take a quick little commercial break, but don't be worried. You're not going to miss any of the great racing action here on Turn 3 Racing Network as Carter Kundinger looks to the inside trying to make a double pass. Not going to be able to get the job done. Now back on the outside comes Ferrante. He's not going to be able to battle back, but that's going to put Woodstrup up into 7th, I apologize. And Kundinger is going to slot in the 8th spot. So we'll continue to watch this battle unfold here on the screen, but we're going to take a brief moment. We'll be right back. You won't miss any of the action as we're going to go side by, well, it's actually not side by side. So, yeah. And as promised, not missing any of the racing action. Just needed a minute to get something to drink as we continue to wind down the laps here in the Dutch Grand Prix, live from Circuit Park Zandvoort in the Netherlands for the Formula I Renault 3.5 Championship. Here on Turn 3 Racing Network, you are watching Carter Kundinger battle it out with Brandon Ferrante and Patrick Woodstrup just in front of him. Meanwhile, back up at the front, nothing going on except Dave Guild has closed in. He has run down your third place runner, Samuel Augsburger, as the field has slowly but surely brought themselves right near the halfway point. We are on lap 18 out of 40 here in the Dutch Grand Prix. 23 laps left to go. And have we seen the end? Well, the way that this thing's going to end, I don't think so. Many positions still to be had as a few drivers now hitting pit road. Once again, Florian Neidl with some issues. He is on pit road trying to fix some damage. Emilio Fernandez Garrido also joins him on pit road, now being scored 2 laps down. Corey Whiting still being shown as the first car 1 lap down, but that's going to change here very quickly as we will join your race leader as he begins to put some more cars 1 lap down. I tell you what, let's go with our onboard camera here as Beal slowly closing in on some of the back markers. And when I say back markers, that's 12th position right there. And then it's only another 5 seconds in front of him before the 11th position of Carlos Cotal is going to have to worry about being put a lap down. And then about 15 or 20 seconds, Danny O'Keefe sits in that final points paying position in 10th. Back marker moving right on out the way. No issues as your race leader continues his domination out here today for the Dutch Grand Prix. No issues for him. And Mark Bruning, he's going to hit pit road early. He's hitting pit road, excuse me, right at about the halfway point. So look for Bruning to try to lay down some flying laps here as he comes back on track, going to give up that that 6th position and fall all the way back to the 10th spot. Oh, close on pit exit there with, I believe that is Carlos Cotal. Oh, and close. Very, very close to touching wheels there was Cotal and Bruning. We'll continue to watch this, and this is not what Bruning needed. He needed to be out in front of Cotal so he could try to build as much of a gap and gain some ground on the rest of the field after that short pit. Mark Bruning disposing of Carlos Cotal. He's going to make his way into the 10th position, and now free track in front of Bruning. So look for him to put down some screamers here. But was that the time that he was held up with Carlos Cotal going to be the downfall? We will have to wait and see how that all shakes out, as the rest of the drivers still yet to hit pit road for their mandatory laps. Will rejoin this battle up here at the front that has switched from the 2nd and 3rd cars to the 3rd and 4th position. That is Samuel Augsburger and Dave Guild. Great camera shot, as you can see those drivers' hands working the wheels, getting down into those first few corners of the lap. And Hoekstra has hit pit road. He is attempting a possible undercut as well, with just halfway, right at the halfway point for Hoekstra. So that's going to put Augsburger back into 2nd and Guild back to 3rd. Siemens going to slot in the 4th position. Ken Hoekstra stay in front of Carter Kundinger and Patrick Woodstrup. No, he just barely stays out in front of a few of those drivers, so that is that's good for him. And we'll rejoin this battle back up here for the 2nd position, as we have now had 2 teammates hit pit road right before and at the midway point. Both Tulip Racing drivers, Danny Hoekstra as well as Mark Bruning, on pit road. And it looks like Dave Guild pulling off track. He's going to hit pit road this time by your race leader, and Samuel Augsburger yet to hit pit road. And that MXS machine, it's not too shabby either. I'm just going to, go ahead and say that. Jason Siemens now also hitting pit road. So we'll rejoin right here with Danny Hoekstra as he tries to leapfrog Dave Guild as well as Jason Siemens, and he's going to be able to do that no problem. Put Hoekstra back up into the 3rd position. And Mark Bruning has been struggling to get by the rest of the field even after coming in for the tires. He found himself battling with Carlos Cotal there momentarily, and that has put a damper on Mark's attempts at the short pit. At the short pit and undercut there. And Bruning unable to leapfrog Jason Siemens, but was able to get past Dave Guild, as Guild being shown 1 lap down now. He was on pit road for quite an extended stay, so a little bit of damage being fixed, but Guild back out there on track, headed in the right direction as we are on board with the 91 of Danny Hoekstra as he makes his way around the track, trying to close back in on those top 2 drivers. The pit delta is right around the 25-second mark, and right now Danny Hoekstra finds himself right at about 41 seconds behind your race leader Cedric Beal, less than 20 seconds behind Samuel Augsburger, who has yet to pit. So look for Hoekstra to take over that spot. We continue to watch Danny Hoekstra try to close the gap, try to close the distance to the drivers in front of him. We have now got only 9 drivers left on the lead lap. Danny O'Keefe, final driver in your points paying positions, is being shown. The first car 1 lap down, and we will continue to watch Danny Hoekstra as he tries to build the gap between Carter Kundinger and himself and tries to close the distance between himself and the top 2 drivers on track right now. Teammates at MXS Racing Stables. And that is Samuel Augsburger running in the second position right here on screen, as Brandon Ferrante hits pit road, driving off pit road now. So Carlos Cotal gonna jump him for that position, and looks like Ferrante gonna be able to stay on the lead lap as we now rejoin your race leader. And there you see it, just barely in front of your race leader. Do remember that Cedric Beal still has to make his pit stop, so as long as Ferrante doesn't have any mistakes here, he should be able to keep himself in front of Beal. But oh my goodness, Cedric Beal able to get by not just 1 but 2 drivers in those few corners, as Mark Bruning has an issue and he is going to fall to the 9th spot, just behind your race leader, as well as Brandon Ferrante, who is now being shown as the first car 1 lap down. But remember, Beal does have to make his pit stops. So those 2 drivers going to get back onto the lead lap, but they are well out of contention for a podium position, unless we've got some issues with some other drivers out there. Looks like we have about 5 drivers yet to make their pit stops. Your race leader, Cedric Beal, his teammate running in second, Samuel Augsburger, as well as Carter Kundinger, Patrick Woodstrup, Carlos Cotal. Those drivers, the only ones yet to make a pit stop. And Mark Bruning had an issue, and he has had to pit 1 more time. So that is going to relegate Mark back to the 10th and final points paying position. So the race beginning to slip away just a little bit for Tulip Racing. But Hoekstra, he is trying everything he can to close the distance between himself and the man on screen, the man on the point leading this field since the lights went out today here for the Dutch Grand Prix, live from Circuit Park Zandvoort here in the Netherlands on Turn 3 Racing Network. And man, Beal not playing no games. As the race leader hits pit road this time by, that's going to give the lead to this man right here. And as a matter of fact, it would be very close for Augsburger to even make the jump over his teammate. That is the type of gap that Augsburger was having to deal with. And nope, he's going to hit pit road. So we'll keep an eye now on Danny Hoekstra as he makes his way around the track. Cedric Beal back on to track, maintaining that first position on the podium. As we see Hoekstra going by the pit lane by Paddock, and Samuel Augsburger just now getting off pit road. That's going to put him back to the third spot, almost 7 seconds now behind Danny Hoekstra. So Hoekstra, as long as he keeps it straight, should walk away from today with a podium position. Now just 14 seconds behind your race leader. Not any real battles per se on track. Mark Bruning now being scored the first car, 1 lap down in the 10th position. Looks like almost all the drivers have went ahead and made their pit stops. Carter Kundinger and Carlos Cotal yet to hit pit road. They are running 4th and 5th. Jason Siemens, Brandon Ferrante right there trying to capitalize when those two drivers hit pit road. But your top three have got a pretty big lead over the rest of the field. So even when Kundinger pits, yes, he's going to give up some time in some positions, but he's about 34 seconds in front of Carlos Cotal right now. So Kundinger should be able to pit and come back out on pit road without any issues, without losing a position, as now looks like the 12, I believe, of Corey Whiting trying to go up and around Kundinger. Whiting being scored 1 lap down. Inching our way closer and closer to 10 laps left here, live from Circuit Park Zandvoort in the Netherlands for the Formula I 3.5 Championship. And man, it has been a race for second place. Cedric Beal has just been in a world of his own. Gonna jump back a little further and try to pick up this battle that's beginning to brew between Carlos Cotal, Brandon Ferrante, and Jason Siemens. Cotal yet to hit pit road, so he will be dropping those 2 positions to those drivers and possibly a few more, as all of the drivers that are behind him have already hit pit road. And there you see, I believe that is the 44 of Stefan Grabowski, or yes, it was, staying just out of the way, trying to complete today's race. His teammate already out of today's race, Emilio Fernandez Garrido, has left the track. We now have 13 cars still on track, 9 left on the lead lap. We are watching the 11 of Brandon Ferrante as he tries to make his way back up into a podium position, hot on his trail. The 18 of Jason Siemens, as Carlos Cotal has finally made his pit stop. he is going to be relegated to the first car. 1 lap down, now scratch that as he loses yet another spot to Mark Bruning. Mark now being scored first car, 1 lap down in the 9th position. Carter Kundinger was able to make his pit stop, come back out on track and maintain that 4th position, but not able to do much as far as closing in on Samuel Augsburger or Hoekstra, as both of those drivers well out and away from Kundinger. Still watching the battle between the 11 of Ferrante. Oh, and Ferrante goes around with a late spinner. And Siemens, a little bit of contact there. Let's see what happened here. Just onto the rumble strips a little bit too much. Siemens trying not to touch him. Actually, no contact. Wow, that was very, very close. And believe it or not, with that happening, that put Patrick Woodstrup up in front of his teammate Jason Siemens. So Siemens not gaining a position out of it. The man that made the moves was Patrick Woodstrup. He came from 7th up to 5th, passing Jason Siemens as well as Brandon Ferrante. Dave Guild also capitalizing on the mistake by Ferrante in picking up a spot. He's going to slot himself in the 7th position and force Ferrante back to the 8th spot. And it doesn't look like team orders are in hand, as Woodstrup maintaining that position. Woodstrup a little bit further behind in the point standings, so it would help his teammate out. But looking like they're going to stay 1-2. Oh, no, there you go. He's letting his teammate by now, down into turn number 1. Nice and clean, very well done. Nice job out of the Siemens Privateer camp over there. Good coordination to get those passes done without any issues. As you see David Guild trying to close the distance between himself and Siemens, but he's going to have to deal with the lap machine of Danny O'Keefe, who is running just in between them. Then it is a long way back to Ferrante, as Ferrante has now given up 7 seconds and very close to being put 1 lap down, running about 1 minute and 20 seconds behind your race leader. And big moment there for Woodstrup. Oh my goodness. We'll take a look once again at Woodstrup's spin here on the rumble strips, and then out into the gravel, and around that machine goes. And that's going to put Dave Guild up into the 6th spot as he tries to close in now on Jason Siemens. He was able to get by Danny O'Keefe as well, so well done for that Crown Racing driver. Dave Guild getting the job done now, knocking on the door of the top 5, well inside of your points paying positions. Gonna jump back up front, however, with your race leader as he begins to try to put Patrick Woodstrup a lap down, and just in front of him is Brandon Ferrante, and kind of gives you a perspective of the pace that Beal has been on out there, as he does put Woodstrup 1 lap down. That's going to leave Now just 7 cars on the lead lap. Does Ferrante have what it takes? No, he's just going to let the race leader on by. And then he's going to try to battle and make... Oh, right into your race leader. Oh, no. We'll take a look back at this from the blimp cam. Oh, no. Cedric Beal is not going to be a happy camper. Oh, my goodness. Trying to get out of the way for the race leader, and it just backfired. Oh, my goodness. One more look at it. Up over the hill. Looks like he's given the position. Misses the corner, and then right in to your race leader. Almost right back on the track. Oh, my goodness. That is not good at all. Your race leader now has to deal with, I believe that is Mark Bruning, just on his gearbox, and his teammate Danny Hoekstra is now only just 10 seconds back. We're going to try to take a look at the car here of your race leader. Everything seems to be intact on the nose. Not seeing too much damage there on the nose, and that could be good, but oh my, there's definitely something wrong. Mark Bruning now able to go by your race leader fairly easily, running wide there, but still was able to catch and go by your race leader. Trying to look at this right side here. The side pod looks okay. Tire doesn't seem to be in too much of trouble. All the A-arms and bars seem to be okay, so maybe just more of a big moment there for your race leader, Cedric Beal. And there you see, just off in the background, Danny Hoekstra. Man, oh man, he is on a mission. Now he can see the gearbox of the two of Cedric Beal, and will that be enough to get him up? Will it give him more fire? 5 laps left to go. 5.2 seconds separate your race leader from second position. And with a teammate out in front, does Beal have to be careful not to get worked back, so to speak, by Bruning? If Bruning just keeps a good line, maybe he can slow that race leader down just a little bit. I know it sounds dirty, but I mean, this is not just, driver championship. This is constructor championship as well. Bragging rights going into next season. Not sure there's going to be any team orders of the such, but I mean, it could possibly happen, as Danny Hoekstra, he's closing in. He's getting there. 4 laps left to go. 3.8 seconds is the distance. Hoekstra able to close the gap 1.3 seconds that last time around, and at this rate, he will get there. But will he be able to make the pass? Is the dirty air just off in the distance in front of Beal, giving him a little bit of troubles with his car? He does have the freshest tires out on track out of these drivers. Oh, and big moment. Sounded like somebody sliding the tires there, locking them up. Oh, and I believe that was Hoekstra, as he has given up a ton of time now, locking them down, trying to gain all he can gain, and everything he gained in those last 2 laps he has given up and more. And maybe the tires for Hoekstra have started to give up, as he is now falling by the wayside. now 6.2 seconds back. He smelled that race lead. He had the race win in his visor. And just a simple mistake, lock of the tires, and there it goes right out the window. Oh! Running a little wide there goes Beal. As we've got 3 laps to go, and ladies and gentlemen, it's not over. One lockup, one little spin, one mistake by Beal, and you can believe that Hoekstra is going to be right there to pounce. 5.5 seconds back to your second place runner. Does Beal have what it takes to keep the ship righted, to keep it headed in the right direction? As he has led this entire Dutch Grand Prix, all 36 laps so far belong to the driver of the 2 machine out of the MXS Racing. And there you see Hoekstra. He is just off in the distance still. 5 seconds now separate himself from the race leader. He has been able to regain 1.2 seconds of the gap as we hit 2 laps left to go here from Circuit Park Zandvoort. Mark Bruning doing an excellent job staying out in front of your race leader, staying on the lead lap, running in that 7th position, and Hoekstra has closed the gap back down to almost 4.5 seconds, so Hoekstra not giving up just yet. He is still trying to get up there to the race leader and try to spoil the party if he can, and what a party that would be if Hoekstra were to pull this off and come around and take the lead for the first time, I should say. But it looks like Cedric Beal's car works really good there through that little chicane, gaining some time on Bruning, but now giving it back up. These drivers going to make their way around the final turn back to the stripe, and we will start our final lap for the Dutch Grand Prix. 1 lap to go here today from Circuit Park Zandvoort. Here in the Netherlands on Turn 3 Racing Network, you were watching Formula I's Renault 3.5 Championship. Your race leader, Cedric Beal, trying to overcome a late race incident, late race contact between himself and the driver of the 11 machine, Brandon Ferrante, who is now being scored 7 laps down and out of the race. Scary moment there for Beal. Hoekstra closed in. Hoekstra still closing in. Hoekstra had a little bit of a mistake, and that afforded Beal the gap that he needed to maintain the race lead and walk away with what will be his 4th straight win here in Formula I. So Beal putting the field on notice that if you're going to want to get the job done this year, he is the man that you're going to have to take it from. Crossing the line, Cedric Beal walks away with the race win here today from the Dutch Grand Prix. And, well, coming up next, I never fixed that, so yeah, that's why that says that. But post-race driver interviews, as you see Hoekstra catching up to the race leader in the cool down laps. We're going to get set to head on down track side for some driver interviews, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back, ladies and gentlemen, here on Turn 3 Racing Network.
Look, I don't know what's gotten into me. I could be off on my rocker potentially. Bigger I get, the more they think it less of me. Don't be the one to insult my integrity. Put down the whistle, I'm done with you referees. Y'all don't know nothing, you think you ejected me. Till I show up in the game, like remember me. I gotta make it, these people depend on me. Hey, that's how I'm living these days. Dreading my wife, keep digging that grave. I had a job making minimum wage. Told myself that I gotta get paid. Prove myself, yeah, get on my grades. Walk into class like, give me that A. Think I'm trash, put a bag in your face. And I put you by the road like, look what it's saying. Here's a reminder that I still spit. Think I need to advise you to watch your lip. Or at least realize that I'm not no kid. Don't Google my name trying to find my crib. Write a pop song, then I write a song like this. Do a lot wrong, doesn't matter, I learn quick. I'm an outlaw, my brain has no fence. Doesn't matter either way to me, cause even if it did, I would destroy it. Used to be employee, now I'm employer. Making big deals, now I gotta get lawyers. People tell me to relax and enjoy it, but when I kick back, I see warning. Summertime might pass, can't ignore it. Every time I rap and I'm recording, might be my last, so I absorb it. Cause I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it, yeah. I gotta make it or make it, man. These are the options. These are the options. I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it. Yeah. I gotta make it or make it, man. These are the options. These are the options. I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it. Woo! I gotta make it or make it, man. These are the options. These are the options. I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it. Woo! I gotta make it or make it, man. These are the options. These are the options. School bag without the pliers. Intros without the choirs. New car without the tires. Music without the writers. UFC without the fighters. Smoking without the fire. Cigarettes without the lighter. Austin Powers, no Michael Myers, that's me. If I ain't get the bars, you see. Something ain't right, like I'm incomplete. Outcast, yes, I'm a different breed. If you disagree, make them all retreat. Act like a boss when I can beat. Take my thoughts in a hyperspeed. When it's all gone and I hit my peak, at least I'll know that I took that leap. Cause life is a process, and I am not here for the nonsense. Losing everything I work for likes to weigh on my conscience. That's why I black out the comments. Who's next? Who's next? I don't know, I ain't been watching. Closing my ear to the gossip. I gotta make it or make it, man. These are the options. No forfeiting. My course different. Change flows and I'm bored with it. More living, never more driven. I avoid him and try to tell me I can never be the go to rap. I ignore limits. I was born with the short trip and thinking I'm slipping. I'm enjoying it. Look at me, I'm on a tour selling more tickets. Even if the fourth record didn't sell a copy, I'ma do it like a hobby. I ain't quitting till the Lord tell me I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it. Yeah. I gotta make it or make it, man. These are the options. These are the options. I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it, man. These are the options. These are the options. I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it, man. These are the options. These are the options. I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it. I gotta make it or make it, man. These are the options. 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 Yeah, these are the options.
Back once again here, track side. At the conclusion of the Dutch Grand Prix, we have had a chance to catch up, and let's see if timing and scoring is going to act right or not, and doesn't look like it's going to. Some things have gotten messed up there, so we're not going to be able to use the graphics, but we do know how they all finished out today, and we're going to catch a brief word or two with driver that slotted home in the second position here today. Danny Hulkster, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, my man. Back home, hometown track, home country track for you. Heck of a race. You were sitting on top of the pole for a long time there in qualifying. Didn't quite get it done, but you almost, here at the end today, came away with a race win. Just tell us a little bit about your race out there.
It was quite funny because, the qualifying, like you said, I had the first place at first. But I knew Cedric would probably have 1 or 2 tenths on me still, and he did. And then Samuel came around, and then I managed to take 2 seconds of my 2 tenths of a second of my time as well. So I was second place. Did kind of a safe first lap and was battling with Samuel from the start on. I knew it was better to let Cedric go because yeah, he is just of another level. But yeah, I was just trying to stay in front of Samuel, and then I made a mistake and got back behind him again and had to watch out for Jason. He was quick as well, but I managed to stay in front and then overtook Samuel again. And then I just managed to slowly drive away and yeah, slotted in second place.
Oh man, it was a heck of a race, and I was your biggest fan there coming to the end. I thought when there was an issue there for Cedric that that was going to be all you needed, and unfortunately, just a little bit of a lockup, as you said, a little bit of an issue catching up to him, and just couldn't quite get it back from there. But man, Danny, heck of a job, and I did mention it as well. That is an absolute badass paint on that car, my man.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, I heard that he like Mark, my teammate, he shouted on the radio, "I think Cedric has a bit of damage," and I thought, yeah, well, fine, but I just want to bring it home for the first time this season on the podium because I had a few bad races before, and yeah, well, like you said, I came close to 3 seconds, and then I was kind of maybe I can get him. And I was in the flow, and then yeah, it oversteered in a high-speed corner, so I had to catch it, and that costed me 3 seconds or something. And then I knew, well, just don't try it, just bring it home. And luckily I did, finally.
Well, man, I couldn't be any more happier for you walking away with the second place here today. Before we let you go, though, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, and I mean, if you want, you can do them in Dutch.
Well, I'll keep it in English just to make. I'll do a bit of Dutch at the end. First of all, I want to thank Dave Guild because he said to me, "You can do the start in a different way." Because I always had spinning tires at the start. How do you call it, man? I don't know. So yeah, I tried his technique and it worked for me to have a safer start, and I managed to stay in second place after the start. Second of all, Bert Hoekstra, my dad and my spotter at the same time. And of course, Mark Bruning, my teammate. We practice a lot together if we are able to. We have a bit of a time zone difference, but dankjewel Mark. En ook lekker gedaan, jongen. We gaan de volgende race weer knallen. So, yeah, that's the best Dutch I can make of it. And thank you for everything. Yeah, we will.
Hello, everyone. No, it's not. I'm really happy about the win, but as you can see, it was a little tricky with the incident lap 32. I guess, yeah, I think it was that. The car was damaged and I lost the rhythm, so it wasn't easy at the end because behind Danny was pushing hard, and I just let Bruning pass to not stop him because I couldn't race at the same rhythm. And after that, I just focusing on finish the race, and that's it.
Well, man, there was that late race contact incident moment, whatever you want to call it. There, that it was pretty bad. Could have ended the night. How hurt was the car, really?
It's difficult to say because first of all, you have to come back to the good rhythm. The tire cold a little more, so you have to warm up the tires. But I felt that I have lost something on the aero. The car haven't the same behavior. So I couldn't push, for example, on fast corners. The car was a little more understeering, so I couldn't race as before. So I couldn't say exactly what was the problem, but I felt it, and my lap times were a second or more slower, so it was hard.
Well, man, you did. Excuse me, you did another fantastic job out there on track. I mean, you led from the time we started to the time we ended. You led. You did have a moment, but you were able to maintain your composure and bring it home on the top of the podium yet again here in the Formula I Renault 3.5 Championship. Man, hats off. It has been a thrill and a pleasure to watch you over the past few Grand Prix. So, Cedric, before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, anything like that?
Yeah, thank you for all of your words. And of course, I want to congrats my teammate Samuel and Danny. Danny was pretty fast. The qualification was so close, and he did some mistakes, I guess. So good congrats to him. And I want to thank my teammates and my team, MXS Racing, the broadcast for all of your job, which is very good, and Jason and all the guys in the for the series Formula I.
All right, my man. Well, I'm sure they all appreciate it. I surely appreciate it. And, for the first time, I'm going to ask you to do something a little different. Give us some parting words in, I believe it's French, correct?
Yes, yes, I speak French, yes. Sorry, I didn't understand well the question. Can you repeat?
Would you like to give any closing words in French? Would you like to say bye to anybody, anything like that?
Yeah. Ouais, en français, ok. Yes, I speak in French. Mais en français, merci MXS Racing. Depuis que je suis là, ça progresse bien. C'est super pour les setups, etc. Et bravo à la team MXS Design. Si vous pouvez aller voir sur Facebook aussi, MXS Design. Et voilà, donc bravo Samuel aussi. That's all.
All right, my man. Well, we'll catch up with you in another 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you.
There you have it. That was your race winner, driver of the two machine, Cedric Beal. And, well, there's nothing really left for us to do over here at Circuit Park Zandvoort. So we will give you your finishing order. Bear with me, as some of these may be a little out of sort, but I believe it has since fixed itself, walking away with the race win, top spot on the podium once again. The two machine of Cedric Beal and native son Danny Hoekstra walking away in the second spot, and his 91 machine coming home in third was the second MXS Racing driver, the 17 of Samuel Augsburger. Coming home in fourth position will be the 02 of Carter Kundinger, running in fifth. At the end of today's Dutch Grand Prix was the one machine of Dave Guild. Coming home in sixth, the 13 of Patrick Woodstrup. And in seventh, the 61 of Mark Bruning, second driver out of Tulip Racing's stable. Running in eighth at the end of today's Dutch Grand Prix, the 12 of Corey Whiting. Sliding home in ninth, the 4 of Carlos Cotal. In 10th, the 15 of Danny O'Keefe. 11th is the 18 of Jason Siemens. And in 12th, the 11 car of Brandon Ferrante. After late race contact with your race leader, coming home in 13th, the 44 of Steven Grabowski. Coming home in 14th, the 16 of Emilio Fernandez Garrido. And in 15, the 9 machine of Florian Neidl. 16th spot goes to the 67 of Will Zoller, while slotting home in 17th, the 08 of Troy Banks. Slotting home in the 18th and final position after early trouble here today from Circuit Park Zandvoort was the 14 of Chris Hansen. That will finish your running order for today. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, another great race in the books for the drivers here at the Formula I Renault 3.5 Championship, live each and every other Saturday afternoon on Turn 3 Racing Network. Join us again. And well, until then, my friends, thank you for all you do. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for continuing to support us. From myself and everyone else back at Turn 3 Racing Network, have yourself a good weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you again in the coming days here on Turn 3 Racing Network.